Hello everyone and welcome to What No One Tells You, a podcast that gives you one practical exercise per episode designed to make you a better manager this week, not someday. My name is Claudia Slujitoru and something is also different starting today, and you will notice it immediately. This podcast is getting shorter, sharper, and built entirely around one single exercise you can complete this week, because your time matters and theory without action is just noise. No long build-ups, no framework that sound impressive but change nothing. Just the work. Let us get into it. You are a new manager, you have a team, and if you ask yourself right now, completely honestly, where each person on that team actually stands, I want you to think carefully before you answer. Not their job title, not their seniority, not the impression someone handed you before you stepped into this role. I mean right now, today. How are they performing? How engaged they are? And do you actually know the difference between what you are assuming and what you are genuinely observing? Most new managers believe they know their team. What they actually have is a collection of impressions. She's great. He's a bit difficult. That one is reliable. And impressions, however well-intended, are not a clear picture. They are noise dressed up as insight. And here is why that matters. Without a real picture of where each person stands, you cannot prioritize your time intelligently, and you will overinvest in the wrong people, you will miss warning signs in others, and you will spend most of your energy reacting to problems that a clearer view would have let you anticipate. Today's exercise changes that, and it takes 10 minutes. I call it the Team Snapshot, and here is how it works. Draw a simple grid, 2 axes. On the horizontal axis, you have performance, low on the left and high on the right. On the vertical axis, you have engagement, low at the bottom and high at the top. That gives you 4 quadrants. And your job is to take every person from your team and place them honestly somewhere on that grid. Not based on their last appraisal and not based on what someone told you, but based on what you are actually seeing right now. For the people on the top right, which is high performance and high engagement, these are your anchors. The people who make the rest of the team possible, and your instinct as a new manager will be to leave them alone because they are fine. Resist that instinct. Tell them explicitly that you see their contribution, and once a month, take 5 minutes to ask them what they need from you. Because that 5-minute conversation is the cheapest and most effective retention tool you have. Top left. High engagement, lower performance. These people want to do well, which means something is getting in the way, and your job is to find out what that is before you form a judgment about who they are. Before your next one-on-one, write down one thing that might be unclear in their brief or one skill gap you could support, and then name it in the conversation, and not as a criticism, but as a plan you are building together. Bottom right, which is high performance, lower engagement. This is the quadrant new managers miss very often because the person is delivering and you leave them alone. And that is exactly the wrong move. A high performer who is disengaged is already halfway out the door. They just have not told you yet. Book a conversation this week and make it about them rather than their work. And ask what is working and what is not working, and then listen without defending what you hear. Bottom left, low performance, low engagement. This is the hardest quadrant to sit with honestly, but you need to know who is there. And before you decide what to do about it, ask yourself one question. Does this person know exactly what is expected of them? Or have you ever said it to them clearly? Because if the answer is no, that is not a performance problem yet. It is a clarity problem, and clarity is your job. Once your grid is complete, I want you to sit with 3 questions before you put it away. The first question would be, am I surprised by where anyone landed? Because if you are, that surprise is important information. It means you have been assuming rather than observing, and now you know where to look. The second question would be, where am I actually spending most of my management time? The most common trap for new managers is pouring all of their energy into the bottom left, the most difficult situations, while the top right runs on autopilot and slowly loses the people who make everything work. And the last question would be, is there someone I found genuinely difficult to place? Because that person, the one you could not assess clearly, is almost always the one whose situation needs your attention most. The Team Snapshot is not a formal performance tool. It is not something you share with HR, and it is not meant to label people permanently. It is a thinking tool for you, something that makes the invisible visible so that you can manage with intention rather than instinct. So do this today. The PDF in the show gives notes with the grid ready to fill in, the 4 quadrant actions and the 3 reflection questions. 1 page, 10 minutes, and a completely different view of the team you are responsible for. My name is Claudia Slujitoru, and this was episode 17 of What No One Tells You podcast, the Team Snapshot. And if this episode gave you something useful, share it with a manager in your network who needs to hear it, and I will see you next Monday. Take care. Bye bye.